They feared him, but not for the reason you think.
You heard it from the legend himself. This isn't just about stats, dunks, or highlight reels. Today, I'm breaking down why Michael Jordan wasn't just the greatest player ever, but the most feared force the league has ever seen. Players like Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, and even Kobe Bryant all admitted it. MJ was one terrifying competitor. And wait until you hear how Larry Bird shut down the entire LeBron versus MJ debate in one sentence. But before we get into the players who feared him, there's something important to understand. They weren't scared simply because Jordan was great. It went deeper than that. Jordan wasn't just great, he was a walking nightmare for anyone who dared to stand in his way. Just look at his resume: 6 championships, 5 MVPs, 10 scoring titles, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and 6 Finals MVPs. There's no padding in those numbers, it's basically a cheat code. He dominated every stat sheet like it was written for him. But even those numbers don't tell the full story, because the NBA Jordan entered wasn't the polished, social media-friendly league we know today. The late 80s and early 90s were different, a time when pain was part of the game, and nearly every player was a killer. Nobody feared anyone, except one man, the GOAT. And that's where things get interesting, because when those old-school legends admit they were afraid, you listen. Larry Bird figured it out earlier than most. He faced a young MJ back when the rest of the league still thought Jordan was just a flashy rookie from North Carolina.
Michael could beat you in a lot of different ways. He can beat you mentally, beat you physically, he can guard you, and he can score.
Larry Bird saw Jordan up close, how fast he learned, how fiercely he played, and how he turned even the smallest hint of disrespect into fuel. By the mid-80s, Bird was already warning people about what was coming. And remember, Larry Bird wasn't the type to hand out compliments. This is the same guy who would tell a defender he was going left, then go left and score anyway just to prove he could. But when it came to Michael Jordan, Bird spoke with something that sounded a lot like awe. He said it plainly.
But it was an incredible playoff performance. I've never seen it before, and I had never seen it after. That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
Coming from Larry Legend, that line carried real weight. What players feared most about Jordan wasn't just his skill, it was how he responded. You could dunk on him, steal the ball from him, even beat him in a game. But the moment you did, he locked you in as his next personal mission. That's what set him apart. Jordan didn't simply defeat opponents, he punished them for daring to challenge him. And deep down, every player from that era knew it. But fear doesn't appear instantly. For MJ, it started small, back when he was just a rookie nobody fully understood yet. To see how that fear was born, we have to go back to the mid-80s. Anyone who lived through that period already knows this is where Jordan began flipping the entire league upside down. It all started on draft night in 1984. Jordan sat waiting to hear his name called. Expectations were definitely high, but the reception wasn't anything close to a king's welcome, not when he went 3rd overall. The Chicago Bulls selected him after Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie. Yes, Sam Bowie. The man who would eventually become the GOAT entered the league carrying the label of almost a top pick from day one.
They feared him because they never knew what would set him off, and once he locked in on you, there was no escaping it.
That 3rd pick label burned Jordan, but instead of complaining, he bottled it up and turned it into jet fuel. Fast forward to his early encounters with the league, and things started getting crazy. Even before the NBA fully understood what was coming, Larry Bird already saw it. Bird, the same guy who trash-talked and dominated Hall of Famers for fun, told his Celtics teammates, "That kid's going to be the greatest ever." That's when people really started paying attention. That's when the fear truly began. But what came next sealed everything. The date was April 20th, 1986. The place, Boston Garden. First round of the playoffs. Jordan had missed most of the season with a broken foot, and the Bulls were expected to get swept without putting up much of a fight. But Jordan had other plans. The Celtics crowd was roaring, Boston was doing what Boston does, and Jordan detonated. He dropped 63 points, and it was anything but quiet. He shot 22-4-41 from the field, 19-4-21 from the free throw line, attacked relentlessly, and didn't take a single three-pointer. The Celtics still won 135-131 in double overtime, but Jordan's performance sent a message louder than any buzzer beater ever could. And when reporters asked Larry Bird about that game, his response became legendary.
He was the only guy Jordan, that I ever played against that at no point could you relax, ever, guarding him.
Bird said what he said because he felt something shift in that building. That young player no one fully respected yet had just sent a message to the entire NBA. And even though Boston won the series, everyone understood what had just happened. This kid wasn't just another talented rookie, he was coming for everyone. And this was only the beginning. We haven't even reached the comment Larry Bird made that blew the whole conversation wide open. Here's the real kicker, that 63-point explosion wasn't a one-game fluke. Jordan began turning every slight, every doubt, every tiny bit of disrespect into fuel. Anytime someone questioned him, he took it personally. That's how the fear started, not just because of his talent, but because players knew Jordan would come after them like a heat-seeking missile. So when people say players feared him, it wasn't simply because he could dunk over anyone or hit ridiculous shots. Those things were part of the package. The real fear came from what happened when he decided you were next.
It's complete nonsense. It never happened. Never happened. He made it up. He totally made it up to give himself a reason to be angry the next night.
It was almost like Jordan was hunting everyone on the court. He was patient, he let the anger simmer, and when the moment finally came, he made sure you remembered it for the rest of your career. But here's the thing, those 63 points were only the surface of what he was capable of. And that's when Larry Bird dropped the real bombshell.
I'm not saying he wasn't deserving of it. All I'm saying is that fueled the fire in me and said, okay, you think he's MVP?
And if Larry Bird said it, you knew it wasn't hype. Jordan's real power didn't live on the stat sheet, it lived somewhere else entirely. On the court, you felt it before you even understood what was happening. You know that feeling when you're guarding someone and you're thinking, okay, 0% chance he scores on me. I've got this locked down. With Michael Jordan, you never got to feel that. Not for a single second. One moment he'd be laughing with a teammate, and the next he'd hit you with a move you never even saw coming. That unpredictability, that sudden shift from calm to lethal, was what made the fear so real. Because the second you relaxed, even for a breath, boom, he made you pay for it. He'd put you on the floor, blow past you, or rise up over you, and you wouldn't even get the courtesy of knowing the attack was coming. That was Michael Jordan. As Tim Legler said, you could never relax while guarding him. Not once.
He walked right past me. Now look at my, really? Oh, so that's how you're gonna play it. I said it's a crock.
Here's where things get absolutely wild. Jordan didn't just react to disrespect. Sometimes he created it himself just to light a fire. Yes, you heard that right. Take Lou Bradford Smith, for example. Smith scored 37 points on the Bulls in '93, and in the very next game, Jordan came out blazing, dropping 36 points in the first half alone. And the supposed moment that triggered him, the nice game, Mike comment? Jordan admitted later that he made it up. It was completely fabricated.
As he's walking off, he's like, be sure and be careful, you never talk to Black Jesus like that.
Think about that for a moment. He literally created a problem out of thin air. He invented a reason to be angry just so he could tap into that vengeance mode mindset. He could have gone into that game calm, focused, and confident enough to win on pure skill. But that wasn't Jordan. He knew his greatest weapon wasn't just his talent, it was his rage. And he was willing to manufacture a reason to unleash it. That's not normal competitive fire, that's next-level psychological warfare against himself. And if he was willing to push himself that far mentally, imagine what it felt like for the poor guys who actually had to guard him. And it wasn't only the made-up slights that set him off. Real ones worked just as well. Remember when Karl Malone won MVP over him? Jordan took that personally too, like Malone had robbed him of something that was rightfully his.
Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan. The reason I put Michael up there before those other guys, go through the grind and to lose, which Michael did. When I was watching that documentary, I was like, damn, I forgot how bad the Pistons beat him up.
Jordan stored that snub in his mind, and the very next day, the Bulls absolutely dismantled the Supersonics, winning 107-90. But here's where the psychology gets interesting. There's a concept in sports psychology called the dark triad, which includes narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. These traits often come with ruthlessness, manipulation, and a lack of empathy. Studies show that athletes with higher dark triad tendencies tend to be more aggressive and are more likely to dominate, control, and weaponize situations to their advantage. Now, look at Jordan through that lens. He had one of the greatest skill sets ever, but paired with that, he had a mindset that could terrify opponents. Compare him to someone like Larry Bird. Bird used wit, sarcasm, and charm. He could make you feel comfortable one moment, score on you the next, and somehow make it feel like it was your fault. Jordan didn't bother with charm. He didn't want to make anyone comfortable. His goal was to make you scared and uneasy. Bird's weapon was humor, Jordan's weapon was rage. And that difference? It mattered, a lot, when you were on the court facing him.
hey, Kobe, you beat Michael one-on-one. I feel like, yo, what you get from me is from him. I don't get 5 championships here without him.
With Bird, you knew you might get embarrassed on the court, but it came from a place of mutual respect and sportsmanship. With Jordan, it was completely different. You never knew if you were facing his best, his worst, or if that even mattered, because he could flip the switch at any moment. And don't just take my word for it, the players who actually faced him don't sugarcoat it. Take Reggie Miller, for example. This guy was ice-cold, confident, fearless. But early in his career, during the 1992 Eastern Conference playoffs, Miller tried trash-talking Jordan. Big mistake. Jordan flipped the switch mid-game, dominated completely, and Miller later admitted he realized something crucial: you just don't mess with Michael Jordan.
People were afraid of him. We were his teammates and we were afraid of him. And there was just fear.
Catch the ball when I threw it to you. I just threw it to you.
The fear wasn't about the points Jordan scored, it was his mindset, his relentless drive to turn everything into a personal challenge. Patrick Ewing said it best: this guy was a tank of a defender and scary as hell in the paint. But when asked who the greatest of all time was, Ewing didn't hesitate.
The fear factor of MJ was so thick.
Then there's Charles Barkley. Everyone knows how loud and outspoken he is, but even he admitted that Michael Jordan was on a whole other level.
What did Michael Jordan do for you as a basketball player with his intensity?
He taught me how to become a pro. He taught me how to bring my game mentally and physically to another level.